everybody, welcome to the Commit episode 30. I'm Neil.
And I'm Richard.
And we're at MHacks, or well, behind us you can see the remains of MHacks.
Because we've been here all weekend, we've been hacking, we've been meeting people, we've been checking out what people have been building.
That's right.
It's been pretty fun, right?
It's been a great time. So some great projects, and now we're just about to head off to the closing ceremonies. So let's show you what you're gonna see there.
Hey folks, I'm here with Todd from MHacks. Todd, thanks for coming on the show and thanks for having us here.
Yeah, no problem. We're happy to be here.
So tell us, what is MHacks, right? Like someone's just arrived on Earth and they're here at MHacks. What's going on?
So MHacks is this awesome event. We bring people together from all different backgrounds, from all over the world. We have people from Italy, India here, Canada here.
They've traveled to come here?
Yeah, they traveled just for this weekend to come to MHacks.
That's so sweet.
It's a huge learning experience for a bunch of people that are just passionate about tech. They want to build something, they want to learn something, they want to make themselves a better person, and get some exposure in the field. And even if they don't have that tech background, still immerse themselves in the culture and figure out what's going on.
So if someone's thinking about getting involved in this and going to hackathons, what's the best way for them to get involved?
My recommendation would be get a little bit of coding background, whether that be from Code Academy or just talking to a few friends.
So you don't need to be a fully fledged, you've built loads of stuff.
No, definitely not. We try and definitely make it great for beginners to come. We have workshops at the beginning of the event. If you have a tiny bit of coding knowledge coming in, those workshops really get you off the ground, get you working. And even if you don't have really any experience with a framework, if you want to build an iOS app, you can go to the iOS workshop. We have an entire Cortex with tons of iOS mentors that can help you out.
Cool. So you can really get quite far along.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. Well, thanks again, and let's go see what people built.
I'm Priyanka. I'm a sophomore from Novi, Michigan, which is about 30 minutes here from the University of Michigan.
I'm Aniket Pednekar, and I'm coming from USC today. So I just flew in yesterday.
Hi, my name is Dominic Dabish. I'm a computer science student from Oakland University.
And I'm Mark Rust. I'm also a computer science student from Oakland University.
I'm John Gottfried. I'm one of the co-founders of Major League Hacking, and I'm out here from New York City, the greatest city in the world, at MHacks.
My name's Michael Wright. I'm from the Philadelphia area.
My name is Brianna. I'm from Pace University in Manhattan.
I'm Catherine. I'm from Sugar Land, Texas, and I go to Bassett.
Hi, my name is Camille Ramsor, and I'm from Melbourne, Florida, and I go to Florida Institute of Technology.
My name is Hanan. I'm a third-year mechatronics engineering student from McMaster University.
And my name is Mei Lin. I am a fourth-year health sciences student at McMaster University.
My name is Eddie Tedeschi, and I am a developer evangelist at a company called Twilio.
We were inspired by Pinterest. We saw all these ideas to make little jars and fill them up with pieces of paper of all your memories and all the good things that happened to you over the year. But however, we thought that was kind of inconvenient and kind of a pain to write down something on a piece of paper and keep it in your room every single day. So we wanted to digitize that and make an app, and we're calling it the Joy Jar.
So right now what we're working on some payment software. So what we want to do is we want to make a credit card that acts like a debit card. So we want something that builds your credit but makes it so you can't mess it up.
So our MHacks project is a spontaneous travel web app called Travel Broke, and it's basically spontaneous traveling on a budget.
Today we're working on a telemedicine hack. The whole idea is to use hardware integrated into a stuffed animal to use it to help monitor the vital signs of a child. And then, you want to explain the iOS part?
Essentially, it is a health monitor toy that the child will play with. The data will be sent to an iOS device that can be monitored by the parent as well as the doctor.
This is actually my 6th MHacks. I love this event so much. It really brings together a huge group of people from all around the world. And so when I come out here, the thing I like to focus on is meeting as many hackers as possible, talking to all of the cool companies that sent their mentors here, and honestly just debugging people's code at 2 a.m.
I got into hacking. I was actually going to be a math teacher, and 2 years into my math degree, I had an intro to programming class. and I just fell in love, and it was definitely the coolest thing I'd ever done before. So I immediately changed majors to computer science, and I switched to Rutgers University. And I fell in love with this awesome hacking community.
I'd say my friends got me into hacking. A group of them were going to Sparta Hack at Michigan State University, which was my first hackathon. And beyond that, I've attended MHacks 6 and once here, more again at MHacks Refactor, and one out in California, Hacking EDU as well.
My first hackathon was MHacks 4. It was truly a remarkable experience, and I was undecided on my major until I went there. I went straight with computer science after that.
So I actually have a history degree, little known fact. And when I graduated from college a bunch of years ago, I had done some programming for fun as a hobby, but I didn't really have anyone else that I knew that was really into building things the same way I was. And so I went to my first hackathon, and honestly, it was my first exposure to a group of people that really loved creating things for their own benefit, right? It wasn't assigned to them. It wasn't like something they were paid to do. They just loved creating things. And so I went to this hackathon, and it changed my perspective on what the tech industry was.
After I got here, there were a lot of interesting hackathons. My first hackathon in the US was MHacks, and they had a lot of cool swag there. I was actually mentoring there, and I had a lot of fun debugging people's codes and looking at the interesting projects that people had made. I also attended a few other hackathons where I won some really cool prizes that got me really into this.
I think the fact that you have such a great environment to learn is the best part about hackathons. Like, I could definitely not have learned a whole new language and utilized new frameworks that I had no idea about before, and without the help and support of mentors close to me, and the fact that we're focused on creating one thing this whole event.
Oh, this is my first one, but it's sort of a rite of passage, and I knew I had to make it, so I wanted to make it big. MHacks is super cool. I've heard tons about it. Loads of caffeine. That's always a big draw. I don't really sleep anyways, so, my kind of place.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like the community building. I think that's really cool. I think when you come to a hackathon, you may not have any idea of what you want to build, or you may be like, okay, this is totally what I want to build. But usually by the end, it's not what you thought it was going to be in the beginning. And like 2 days or whatever it is, 12 hours, you can go from like having nothing to just having, some scratches on a napkin or whatever, to having like an actual app, being able to run it on your phone or run it on a website on a server. And so I think that process of like creating and collaborating with other people.
I just love building things and learning new things, and it's always good. It's a nice way to get out of your comfort zone while being focused enough to get something out of it. Building something at the end of the day.
Yeah, basically it. Yeah, I love building stuff, and demoing at the end is just the perfect reward for the 36 hours of hacking.
Coming to hackathons as an evangelist, I get to teach some hackers some cool things, and it's really fun to teach hackers things that I struggled with and think about different ways to help them learn quicker than I did.
Oh man, well, I've been to hundreds of hackathons at this point, and there's definitely an element that kind of blends together, like, having pizza 100 times is not super exciting, but the thing that always brings me back is that aha moment when a hacker breaks through on a problem that they've been struggling with for hours and hours and hours, and you can just see that they finally get what they're capable of, right? And that's a really amazing experience for people to have, and I love being part of creating that experience for tons and tons of people.
So, what we've built this MHacks is a tool that lets you rapidly prototype native iOS applications, right? With Markdown, right? So instead of writing the code of like how I implement every single view and every single screen, I just tell you what it is that I want, right? So here I have a very simple JSON file that's readable, right? My home screen, I want a navigation bar, I want a view, I'm gonna give you an image URL, and I want a table, right? I'm gonna tell you about my rows, right? And so if we go ahead and run this in Xcode, it's just taking this interface.json file as input, and it's actually producing a fully native iOS binary, right? Like we can interact with it, we can manipulate it. If I tap this first row, I can even go and see this new screen, which has a collection view, right? And so this is really declarative and it's really nice, right? I can literally say the action for this row should just be go to details screen, and that's the end of the story.
And let's say you don't want to write JSON. We built this really cool editor where you could add elements to your view, and it'll contextually give you properties that you can add to that element. So you don't, mess up and like add a navigation bar to a navigation bar, because that's not possible.
And every step along the way, it knows what you can do, it knows what you can add, and it knows what properties you can set.
Hey, so I'm Augustia, and this is Amy, and with our other friend Lewis, we are Disneyfication. What Disneyfication does is helps you fulfill that urge you have to become your dream Disney character. For example, if you have a Skype interview, you can be Aladdin for the interview and it'll track your face with the webcam. Now, how did we do this? We pulled a lot of different techniques. We used OpenCV, we used machine learning, we took about 400 Linode servers, multi-threaded them together, and ran a deep belief neural network with almost an infinite number of layers, which is crazy, but it works. Yeah, if you want to see the demo, you can notice that when she's moving her lips around and switching her face, the character should follow most of the time, even though there's different people moving in the background confusing it.